Hello everybody, good evening, welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news. Lenny Yoro decision made, and also a shock transfer progression with Jonathan TAH. What is going on there? We've also got interesting updates from Erik ten Hag. We've just done the watch along for the game between Manchester United and Rosenborg, their first pre-season game. Ten Hag not happy, and we'll talk about what that's all about as well. But we're here to talk about the latest transferring news today. Welcome to Members Club CY7. Well, this is the update. There's various updates actually, but I'm going to start off with the best source of information that's come out today. So Fabrizio Romano in the last few minutes has said that Lenny Yoro's future depends again on the player's decision. Yoro's preference remains Real Madrid, and it's only up to the player. Talks with PSG are currently cold. Lille president is pushing Yoro to join Manchester United after their official bid was accepted last week. So decision made is where we are at here. There is no change. There is literally no change in the position of Lenny Yoro, and the mind doth wander towards what Manchester United may well be thinking about doing here, because it's always been a deal that stood out as a deal that was not possible to do. And the latest update again is that this is a deal that Manchester United cannot do. So I'm sort of perplexed in a sense as to what the next step is, because are we still going to continue bidding on a player that we never had any chance of getting? There were other reports coming in around Lenny Yoro earlier on today, suggesting that Manchester United were losing the battle anyway, that Lenny Yoro wants to play for Real Madrid. Lenny Yoro is worried that, this is another report, Lenny Yoro is worried that Real Madrid have not increased their offer for him and told Lille that he does not intend to stay. He wants his future transfer to be settled sooner rather than later. He's not very motivated to join Manchester United at the moment. His agent, George Mendes, is pushing for him to join Real Madrid. And also, he doesn't know for sure whether he wants to join Manchester United. So I think that, look, we've got this Jonathan TAH story to talk about, but the Lenny Yoro story is just, there will always be a truth that maybe we don't understand. But again, there is no change here. Like, I think that by now we would have expected there to be some movement towards Manchester United. And I sort of agree with Jesus is Lord that maybe not on that, but that we should move on. It doesn't feel like the bid and the push from Lille has done anything. And maybe that was the dice we threw. Maybe the dice we threw was make Lille accept the bid and then make Lille push the player towards us. But, and maybe it was worth maybe it was worth throwing that dice. I mean, maybe the situation is this. We know Lenny Yoro is going to be a world-class centre-back. We would like to buy that world-class centre-back. We know that he wants to go to Real Madrid, but let's put a bid in that Real Madrid won't bid, and let's see if that makes any difference. Let's see if the player goes, well, Man United really want me. They're willing to pay a good price for me. Real Madrid won't pay that price. But this is the weirdness that we need to revisit. I can, when I say that back, I can almost understand why Man United might think it's worth a go. If you've got a player and you go to the player's club and say, there's £44 million, that's how much we want you, and you get to talk to the player because the bid's been accepted, so you can, and you talk to the player and you say, we really want you, and we're offering 44 million. And Real Madrid, oh, they want you, mate, but they want you cheap. They won't pay what you're worth. And you can say you want to go and play for Real Madrid, but they want you on the cheap. They want you that much that they want you on the cheap. They want you that much that they're telling you to sit and let your contract run down. That's how much they want you. We want you now playing in the Premier League for Manchester United. So maybe that's the fruit of our labour. Maybe that's all we did, because it doesn't feel like what we've done has made any difference. And everything that's coming out again tonight is that Yoro wants to join Real Madrid. Real Madrid will not pay what we're paying, and they will wait and get him for what they want. And as I said, we lose out because we don't get a player we want, but there are other players we can go for. The big victim in this is Lille. You know, if I'm Lille's president and I've got 44 million quid there from Man United, and then I'm going to get 30 million from Real Madrid, I'm losing 14 million pounds because the player won't do a deal that's good for the club. But what can you do? Alex Wing, welcome to the Members Club. Keep up the great work, says Shaunak. Do you think Amas is good enough to compete, or should we buy another left back? Can I come back to that in a minute? Because I want to get into the transfer stuff. We can talk about that in a minute when we talk about what Ten Hag said about that game. Yeah, so look, that's where we are with it. It still very much looks like Yoro wants to go to Real Madrid. And as I said, Real Madrid don't lose these battles, do they? So, you know, looks like that's what's going to happen there. We also have a very interesting story coming in about Jonathan Tah. Before I do that, though, I just want to catch up on some of the comments. Yoro won't join a club that's not going to be in the Champions League for the foreseeable future, says Duncan. Well, 1 year. Let's get Antonio Silva from Benfica, says Metu. Also, he knows he will win trophies at Real Madrid, says Kunal. And Real Madrid are scummy like that. Look at the Mbappe situation, says Damien. And why is everyone... Okay, we're not on about that. Madrid have standards. Look, I've got no problem. If you're Real Madrid, and if Man United could do that, where a club bids a load of money, but you know that player wants to come to you, even if it's going to cost the club they're at money, then what a position of power that is. Not that Real Madrid need any power. They're already the most powerful club in the world. But imagine being able to sit there and the player that you want to buy will reject a club that's offered more money and upset the club that's nurtured him to come to Real Madrid. I mean, that's the bottom line here. That's the greed of the modern footballer. And I'm not saying greed in a bad way. I'm just saying that is the modern footballer. Lille have developed Yoro, and he is going to say, forget getting more money for me. I'm going to go to Real Madrid. And guess what? If you don't do a deal with Real Madrid for lower than market value, I will run down my contract as well. So, you know, Lille are the biggest victim here. Man United aren't really a victim, but Lille are. They are. They're the player. They're the club that's developed Yoro, and they're going to miss out on probably another 15 million quid. Because Yoro wants to go to Real Madrid, but he won't be the first player to do that. I mean, PSG are getting nothing for Mbappe, are they? So, and they spent what from Monaco? Isn't Bayern going for Tah? Wouldn't that affect the Ligt deal? We're going to talk about that now. So, okay, this is the next story to talk about, and this is coming in from Plettigol, who is a German-based journalist for Sky Germany, and this is what he had to say. I've been told that Manchester United have inquired about Jonathan Tah in the last few days. Man United are aware of the fact that there's no agreement yet between Bayern Munich and Leverkusen. Plus, there's still no final agreement between Man United and Bayern Munich about the transfer of Ligt, as the final offer from Manchester United is still missing. So I would say about this, very left field. Really left field. Don't know where it's come from left field, but, well, I do. It's come from Plettigol. But what you've got to admit is that, I mean, Plettigol's a pretty good journalist around Germany. And when he says that Man United are inquiring about Tah because they see an opportunity and they haven't completed a deal with Ligt for Bayern Munich, you just suddenly start to go, hold on a minute. We want Branthwaite, but we've been priced out of that. Fair enough. We want Ligt, but we've not done that deal. And we want Yoro, but he's going to go to Real Madrid. Are we seriously going to put ourselves in a position where we don't get any of our 3 first-choice centre-backs, Branthwaite, Yoro and Ligt? I mean, this would be very Glazer-esque if we start going down to options C, D and E. Because I don't see Jonathan Tah as a solution for Manchester United. He's 28. This would be his last big contract for a start. I didn't think we were looking at those types of players. He's a good player. He's a good player. I'm not saying he's a bad player. You know, Jonathan Tah's a good player and he's had a very, very good season at Leverkusen. But it would be very left field for Man United to pivot towards Tah. I mean, I've never really heard us linked to him until today. But then you try and decipher the angle. And the obvious angle is here. We know Bayern Munich want TAH. Let's move for TAH to force Bayern Munich to hurry up with Ligt, so we get Ligt and they get TAH. Are we playing games? Is it mind games? And yeah, it might be that, because I can't see any other angle. Why would Goal, the German journalist, make up a story that Man United want TAH? And why would somebody leak that fakely? Like, what's the benefit there? If you're TAH's agent, you might do it because you might say Man United are interested to force Bayern Munich to move quicker. You might do that. Leverkusen might do it to generate more interest in TAH, so Bayern Munich move quicker. Again, they might do that, but I don't for 1 second grasp why Manchester United. I mean, look, if anything, you might piss Bayern Munich off and go, what are you doing going for our players? So I think that it doesn't make a massive amount of sense to me as to why Man United would suddenly be interested in TAH. Maybe some of you can understand that, but I don't really understand it. What I did find of more concern is check Romano's tweet. I've checked it. What Romano tweet are you talking about? Romano spoke about Yoro about half an hour ago, which we started the show about. So what? Either we've got twats in the chat or people who don't listen. We literally we spoke about it at the start of the show. But in relation to Ligt, I think the most interesting update here is that what Goal is saying is that Man United and Bayern Munich are still in the negotiation stage and Manchester United haven't made an offer yet, which I find incredible, that we're not there yet with the Ligt deal. These negotiations can take time, and we spoke about that before, of course. But I do wonder, like, I'm not worried. I'm actually quite relaxed. I'm not worried. I'm confident that United will get where they get to get. But I do think that it's 4 weeks till we play Fulham, and there's a hell of a lot to do. We still need 2 centre-backs. We still need a left-back. We still need a midfielder. We're probably going to need a right-back. We still have a lot of players to sell. So I don't like it when I think we might be pivoting towards Jonathan TAH because the Ligt deal's not going well. I think it's a little bit of a concern, but I still hold true that I think that when you listen to people like Fabrizio, the Ligt deal will get done. But very, very weird one about Jonathan TAH. Don't really get it at all. YD Flame says I'm worried. Weekend Getaway says we need to be careful with Garnacho. Madrid might want to try the same thing with him to get him cheap or a free transfer when his contract is close to an end. I think we're all right with Garnacho. I think he's got many, many years to go on his contract. Mario Franco says letting Varane go is odd given Coma can afford him. And it's nice to see our board, says Omar, going for it for a change. Going for TAH to boost the Ligt deal is refreshing to see. Plus getting Xerxes on a reasonable wage compared to wages of the past. Bravo. You know what? Just to get back on that point, I think this just goes back to what Omar is saying is good, just to bring into the show. We are doing better than we have done in previous transfer windows. Of that, we can't deny that. But sorry for the yawning. I was up late last night. But we also have to remember that we can't pretend that we're going to go from incompetent to elite. We can hope that, but incompetent to elite is a big stretch, and I hope that we do that. But maybe we'll just go from incompetent to pretty good, and being pretty good, there will be things that are a little bit maybe we have let it slip that we're looking at Jonathan TAH to push Bayern Munich quicker towards a Ligt deal. Maybe it is that simplistic. Maybe that is the tactic of Man United. Let Bayern Munich know that we're looking at TAH, so they start doing a deal with Ligt. Maybe it is that basic, and maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe it is a good idea. Maybe we've bid for Yoro, knowing he wants to go to Real Madrid, on the slim chance that that bid will make him think, I want to play for Man United. You know, maybe Man United know it's a waste of time. Maybe we did bid really low for Branthwaite because we could never go anywhere near Everton wanted, and we just thought, let's try it and they might do it. So, you know, maybe some of these tactics are very basic in an attempt to try and, you know, pull off a shock. But as things stand at the moment, Everton wants silly money for Branthwaite. Yoro still wants to go to Real Madrid despite our bid. And we haven't negotiated a deal with Bayern Munich for Ligt yet. And we do need to bring in 2 centre-backs. So, look, I think that the important thing is that we start getting some of these deals done. Because the longer it takes, the more uncertainty there is. And what thrives in uncertainty? In complacency and complacent players. Those players that are thinking, am I leaving or am I not? They need to kick towards the exit door. And the best way to do that is to start bringing in some new signings. Honestly, would not want TAH, De Ligt or Yoro would be better. We need pacey centre-back that can play out from the back. I don't think TAH fits the profile. But then again, you know, Vincent Kompany wants to play out from the back. He did that at Burnley, and he is now the Bayern Munich manager. He also want to do that. Morgan says, actions speak louder than words. Ineos, I want to see action. I don't want to see words. And Clifford says, why is Man United wasting time? These tactics are schoolboy errors. It's clearly not working so far. Ineos have not improved much. Hope we all proved wrong and produce, says Clifford. And even if Yoro joins this year, he'll eventually want to go to Real Madrid. We're better off avoiding that circus, says Kia. And fundamentally, we have wasted time. It's whether you think that wasted time matters. I personally don't think it matters, but I don't think it's going to matter in the long run. If we got Branthwaite, he would have played today. It was worth trying. If we got Yoro, he'd go on the US tour. It was worth trying. De Ligt will not go on the tour. That won't happen because he's obviously on holiday after the Euros. But we have wasted time. I can take that on board. Branthwaite, we've bid twice for. We're in the same position we were before we bid. Nowhere. Yoro, we've spent 3 or 4 weeks on, put a bid on, and we're probably where we would have been if we didn't put a bid in at all. So we have wasted time on 2 deals very publicly. I don't think the Branthwaite deal does us any harm at all because it actually, the PR there is that we won't overpay. The Yoro deal, I think, just shows an ambition. So in some ways, I don't think we lose anything. It has been futile in the sense that all the effort and no reward. But I think there's a PR lesson there. Whether Ineos are doing transfer deals on PR to the fans, I very much doubt. But there is a positivity to not being bent over by Everton, or and also showing ambition going for a player that Real Madrid wants. You know, at the end of the day, we've got in the ring with Real Madrid. We probably wouldn't have done that last summer or the summer before. So intent is sometimes a message, and I don't see it as wasted energy. Because I still think we'll get what we want. We just won't get the A-star choices. And the A-star choices are difficult to get. And it doesn't really matter if you get A choices or B-plus choices. I mean, Yoro is an A-star choice. And if he goes to Real Madrid, well, you know, what did we expect? But we have shown an intent there. And we've also shown an intent with Everton that we won't overpay. So as long as we end up where we want to end up on August the 31st, well, actually, I'd push that a little bit. I think we will grade the transfer window on August the 31st or September the 1st, but we need to be ready to go on August the 15th. You know, we can't be buying the Casemiro and Antonis and Amrabats in the last week of August that are first team players. Like, we've got to be ready to go against Fulham. Those first 3 games are massive. The smart thing to do is to hijack the Calafiore deal, says Joe. Could we hijack the Calafiore deal? I mean, I don't know that we could. I think it'd be quite different. Brian says, if I'm Lille and Yoro rejects United and we lose out on then I'd bench him all the upcoming season, says Brian. Yeah, but they're going to end up with no money. I think Lille will have to take whatever Real Madrid offer. It's a horrible position. I'm going to move on to something else, but it's a horrible position for Lille because Real Madrid haven't just got you like that. They've twisted him as well and said, say thank you. Like they've literally got them by the balls. I mean, Real Madrid could actually say, we'll give you 15 million. You know, Man United have offered 44. Real Madrid could say, we'll give you 15 now, or he'll go for nothing in a year. We can wait. It's a horrible position for Lille. I mean, what do you do in that situation? You know you've got an offer there from Man United for 44, but the player won't go because he wants to go to Real Madrid. And then Man United and Real Madrid are like, hold on a minute, don't even give him 30. Give him 15. Give him 10. You know, just take the total piss. But that's not our concern. Any concerns that it's starting to feel like Ed Woodward's first window, says Carl? No. Look, I think come back in 2 weeks and we've only bought one player, I'll be worried. But I think this is going to be... I think the next 2 weeks up to the US tour will be big. And although we don't traditionally do many deals when on tour, this is not traditional because we've got a new ownership. So, you know, I'm reasonably comfortable with what's going on at the moment. And yes, we've wasted a bit of time on a couple of deals, but, you know, I think if those deals had come off, people would have said, wow, that's absolutely amazing. Just a couple of quotes to bring you from Erik ten Hag after the game today that I thought were very, very, very important. Basically, what he had to say was that the result today against Rosenborg, of which you can see my match reaction if you want to check that out, he said the result today is not secondary. The performance... Sorry, let me get this out. Sorry, I had a message there. The result is not secondary today. So I don't really think it matters again the result today against Rosenborg because it's our first pre-season game and it's about fitness and they're obviously very fit and sharp because they're halfway through the season. But Ten Hag said, no, the result is not secondary. The standard at Manchester United is to win, not lose. The performance was below our standard. This is not the standard for top football. We can't be match fit at this moment. They have much higher fitness levels, but we are Manchester United and we still should perform better. So, look, there you go. Erik ten Hag clearly wasn't as relaxed as maybe I and many of you were. He realises that the performance, the fitness levels aren't going to be good, but it's still expected a lot better. And it's interesting what Tommy Dock says. His comments are a repeat of last year. Now, last year, I remember this, in one of the American games, he said, was it Dortmund maybe? I can't remember who we played last year. But he said after the game, yeah, it's pre-season, but the standard isn't what we expect. So is there a bit of a warning there that Ten Hag, I think it's done on purpose. I think what Ten Hag is doing is saying, look, we wandered last pre-season away from the standard that we need to set and look at what happened. From the very first game, I'm going to make sure that they know that this isn't up for the levels that we want it to be. And I think it's also a very clever thing from Ten Hag to do because, as we know, we've only got one new signing at the moment. And it's another... I just don't think Ten Hag's going to sit back and take the blame this year. I don't think he's there to be, you know, the dartboard for everyone to throw arrows at. I think he's going to say, like he said there, the standard isn't where it needs to be, and throw it at some of these players that aren't performing, because he's probably right in a sense. You know, you look at some of the players that were playing in that game, and all right, you might have had a month on a beach, but where's your ability to pass the ball? You know, especially in the first half, there were players on the pitch that were doing the same thing as last season. You know, not picking up their men, taking people on instead of passing, misplacing passes. And yes, it's pre-season and there's plenty of time to improve, but I think Ten Hag saying that is really intelligent, because there obviously is an unhappiness with the standard last season, and it's not going to be acceptable. And it also sends a message to those players that didn't play today, that have got to come back from pre-season or will play on Saturday, that, you know, we're not going to drift through pre-season. Pre-season doesn't matter massively in relation to results, but it does matter massively in relation to what the manager is expecting. And obviously there was a few things today that he wasn't happy about, regardless of the result. So, you know, look, I think the season Liverpool won the Premier League, they lost all 4 pre-season games. They got beat by Napoli 3-0. So results in pre-season don't matter. But it's interesting when the manager comes out and says, I expect more. And, I think that's going to be very interesting to watch over the coming weeks. Joshua Critchley, welcome to the Members Club. Absolute legend. Harris says, isn't Guehi still an option? And we need another left-back. Maybe Bournemouth left-back might be a good alternative. You need to watch the morning show, Jay Harris, because we spoke all about the left-back there. And Kirkers is probably not going to be an option for Man United. You need sleep, mate, says Ryan. Oh, I'll be getting some. Don't worry about that. Absolutely will be getting some sleep later. Linda Sells says get your badge in. It's the players out I'm concerned about, Mark, says Alan. Sal Rashford, says Wolf Wall. I knew that people would pick up on the Rashford thing. Look, I'm not here to judge Casemiro, Wan-Bissaka or Rashford on 45 minutes in pre-season. What I would say, if you wanted me to say anything about all three of those players, to be fair, Wan-Bissaka, to me, just is what he is. A very good defensive right back that doesn't offer enough going forward. Casemiro is a player that really should go and play in Saudi. I think he looks fitter, but still doesn't have any mobility, and that's not going to come with match sharpness. And Rashford, we saw some good bits, a sliding tackle to, block a shot after a miscontrol, the nutmeg, but then he's double teamed. And then there was another occasion where he's got the ball on the edge of the box and instead of passing, he takes someone on and loses it again. So, look, I think that out of Wan-Bissaka, Casemiro and Rashford's the one that definitely will stay. And I really have said this so many times about Rashford, and I'm not going to judge him on this 45 minutes. But what I would hope has happened over the last month when he's been having this social media cleanse and, mind cleanse, etc., and I hope Van Nistelrooy will help him with this, is I hope that he watches some of his bad performances, not just last season, but over the last 3 years, and realises there is a big issue with his game that is so predictable. When he's got the ball in certain positions, he's either going to take someone on or he's going to cut inside and shoot. And that makes the defender's job very, very easy. He needs to mix his game up. He's got to start passing the ball more to create the space to get the shot off or take somebody on. And if he doesn't learn that for this season, then he will be very predictable for the opposition. And there might be goals and there might still be moments of brilliance, but if I'm up against a player who I know is going to cut inside and shoot or take me on, all I got to do is get some cover. If he's in a one-on-one, I'm screwed. But if we're in a defensive on the edge of the box situation, I'm pulling in my centre-back or preferably my midfielder or even my winger and just saying double team him. Like, I'm going to show him down the outside. You're going to block him off on the inside. And what's he going to do? As long, he's not going to go past both of us, is he? I think that Ten Hag, but in relation to Casemiro, I still think he's got to go. And I was watching it today, and I do like Casemiro, and I was like, this can't be a renaissance. This can't be a bounce back. We do need to move him on. I was impressed with Collier. Obviously, Vitek was man of the match, but that midfield still needs a bit of work. And it's interesting that Mason Mount in the first half was playing in the 8 position. You had Casemiro as the 6, Mount as the 8, and Hannibal was actually meant to be more of the 10 in the Bruno role. So is that where Mount's going to fit in? I think a lot of us thought that last year, that he would be the Eriksen replacement. That didn't work out because of injury. But, maybe Mason Mount is going to be utilised in that 8 position, which again doesn't make sense because I don't think you could ever have a midfield 3 of Mainu, Mount and Bruno. I don't think that would work. But, it's going to be interesting to see how Mount works his way into the team. I think Erik Ten Hag is doing the right thing. He has the backing, but put the responsibility on the players. If they don't like it, there is still time for them to leave. Look, I don't know that we're going to see any shock leaves from Manchester United, but I think that there are certainly developments that could happen over the coming weeks. I mean, it was interesting to see Ruud van Nistelrooy talking to Marcus Rashford before the game, telling him what to do. I mean, I think this striking intensity, attacking intensity that Van Nistelrooy can bring to the team you would hope will make a big difference to some of our strikers. Obviously, Xerxes coming in and Rasmus is young, but these things can certainly benefit Manchester United. Just a little bit of a story coming out here. I don't know how true it is, but there's talk of Mason Greenwood returning to Carrington tomorrow. I mean, the Mason Greenwood story is really interesting. What I can tell you about the Mason Greenwood situation is that Marseille sorry, I'm just getting the latest here. Really interesting, Mason Greenwood's. I think I've got to be careful how I word this. I don't know whether he'll be back at Carrington tomorrow. I mean, I was very surprised to see Sancho there on Friday. But where we're at with Mason Greenwood and I know Beth spoke about this earlier. The Lazio president or someone at Lazio senior has basically had a rant. He's come out and said, we've offered 25 million euros to Manchester United with add-ons and also a 50% sell-on clause. So it's virtually the same as what Marseille have offered. And he said that clubs are just trying to, derail the bid to push us out. He said Juventus tried it, they've gone away, Napoli are doing it now. So Lazio are very vocal about their desire to get Mason Greenwood, and they've been very vocal of the offer that they've made. So they've made a really strong play to take him to Rome. Marseille expected Greenwood to make his decision late last week, still hasn't made it today. So I think what's happening with Mason Greenwood is that it's not really problematic for Manchester United because there are two very good offers on the table, both for about £25 million with add-ons and both with big sell-on percentages. I think what's going on with Greenwood is it's the choice of Marseille or Rome. And I don't know why that decision hasn't been made, and I don't know why there would be a need for him to come back to Old Trafford, Carrington and train. I mean, is that a bit of a threat? But maybe Man United are saying, look, if you're not going to make your mind up, you come back to Carrington and train on your own. And is that a humiliation for Greenwood? I don't know. I don't know the relationship between Man United and Greenwood. I thought it was quite a good one, but maybe it's just about getting the decision done. Marseille are certainly ready. Lazio are ready. Man United are ready. It feels like Greenwood's not quite sure what he wants to do, and maybe it's just about pushing it. I mean, I agree with Terence, but it's not me. I'm not Mason Greenwood. Terence isn't Mason Greenwood, and the decisions that Mason Greenwood makes are the decisions that he makes, and we probably wouldn't make some of the decisions that he's made. But I think with regards to Marseille or Rome, it would be Rome, because the Italian league is more high profile, and Rome is a fantastic city to live, I would imagine. But I love Italian football. That we had heard that Marseille was his preference under De Zerbi, and I suppose if you want to, I suspect Mason Greenwood might see his next club as a stepping stone, and no offence to them, but I think he might see it as a stepping stone. And if you go and play for Marseille, you're going to stat pad. With all due respect, you're going to stat pad. There are over half that league is crap. Whereas in the Italian league for Lazio, well, look, put it like this. You go and play for Marseille under De Zerbi, you are going to be one of the better teams in that league, and 70% of the league you're going to expect to win. You go and play for Lazio, and you're going to be around, you're basically probably going to be a Brighton. You're not going to be in the top 4. You might not be in the top 6. And also, the league is stronger, so you might not score as many goals. So if his intention is to go and score a load of goals and enhance his reputation, then maybe that's why Marseille is the one to do it with. Do you think we will get Yoro done, says Andrew. And Canna Dave says, if I was Lil, I'd sit his butt on the bench for the season. Joshua says, I feel like United are going to have a good season. I do as well. And Warbane says, I think Ten Hag is doing the right thing. We've done that one from as well. I'll come back to that question on Yoro, because apparently there is a new update for me to read here. Let me just make sure I get it before we talk about Yoro. It's Pletigol who is basically talking about Yoro. He says, as reported and now confirmed again, Yoro will decide between Real Madrid and Man United. Liverpool and PSG are out of the race at the moment. I think that the only Yoro point I would make is that his decision has always been made that he wants to play for Real Madrid. Fabrizio Romano, 45 minutes ago, Yoro's preference remains Real Madrid. So his decision is already made. There are 3 decisions here. 4 decisions, actually. He wants to play for Real Madrid. Real Madrid want him. Man United want him, and Lille want him to go to Man United. He's contracted by Lille, but it's up in a year. So Real Madrid can basically say, he wants to come to us, we'll give you a certain amount, we're not paying what Man United paid, and actually, if you don't take what we've offered, he'll run his contract down and we'll get him for free, like we did with Mbappe. And that's the situation. The only thing that would change this is if Lenny Yoro suddenly goes, can I just shock you? I don't want to play for Real Madrid, despite what I've been saying for the last few weeks. I actually do want to play for Manchester United. And that would be a complete and utter pancake flip, because if he wanted to play for Man United, he'd be holding up a shirt now because we've already agreed a deal with Lille. So decision has been made by Yoro. He wants to go to Real Madrid. As Fabrizio has confirmed again, he wants to go to Real Madrid. United are going to have to pull out of this, because otherwise we've just got this stalemate where Real Madrid have made it very, very clear that they will not pay what we've offered, and they want Yoro. And unless Yoro changes his mind, we could sit around until August the 31st and never get an answer, because he's just like, I don't care whether you've had a bid accepted, I'm waiting for Real Madrid. So at some point, United will need to walk, because I don't know whether Yoro is actually ever going to say, well, I don't know whether has he not already said it. Regardless of the reports, do you think United will go back and get Brentwaite in the end? Is everything Carpy? Well, I genuinely think that there might be. I genuinely think that Man United might go in for Brentwaite again. I don't want us to. I think it's a brilliant opportunity to send that message that you won't be held to ransom. But I do feel that there might be another Brentwaite bid. Especially if the Yoro deal dies, we might just go back in. But, you know, I'm loathed to go anywhere near what Everton wants. So, yeah. Shadow said it could be another De Jong saga. Well, I don't think any of our transfers are another De Jong saga, are they? De Jong was from May until August. We were constantly told that he didn't want to leave Barcelona. He didn't want to come to Man United. And we constantly kept trying to do a deal. I think that you can walk away from the Yoro deal with great confidence that there's no point going back. You can walk away from the Brantwaite deal with great confidence saying there's no point going back. And as we've always said, there is going to be no criticism of Ten Hag or Ashworth or Ineos if we walk away from the Yoro and the Brantwaite deals, because Man United fans are intelligent and we know the complexities of those deals. There are plenty more fish in the sea. There is Guehi. There is Inacho. You know, could we still do something around Todibo? I still think every day even though it's a small chance, every day I still think that we might get this story that United are going to court with UEFA about Todibo, because with every deal that we try and do, the Todibo deal was the deal we wanted to do, and it still looks like a really good deal to do. I mean, we forget about that. I mentioned at the start of the show, if we don't finalise Ligt and we don't get Yoro and we don't get Brantwaite, we've just missed out on our 3 top targets. But actually, we've missed out on 4. our 4 top targets, because Todibo was a top target as well, and that's UEFA's fault. So imagine that scenario. Don't get Yoro, don't get Todibo, don't get Branthwaite, and Ligt. That's that. You know, you are down to options C, D, and E then, because we only want 2 centre backs. We haven't got any other 4. They were our top 4. I don't know what order they were, because I think Todibo would definitely be a United player. Todibo, Branthwaite, Yoro, Ligt. I don't know what the priorities are for those. I mean, Branthwaite's left-footed, so maybe he was number 1. But they're the 4 we wanted, and we might only end up with 1. Bremer would still be an option as well, yes. What about Bastoni, says Robin. We've never been linked to Bastoni. I mean, we can throw centre-backs out. You know, we can. But I'm mentioning Bremer and Acho and Guehi because they are players that United have scouted extensively. Regard, we've done that one from Everything Kirby. Have we overrated this window because we've been distracted by the Euros? We haven't done much. It's just speculation, says Jack. Yeah, but what have Arsenal done? What have Liverpool done? What have Man City done? What have Tottenham done? We are very focused on Manchester United because that's our team. But I look like I've got no top on underneath this. Have I got a top on? I haven't. Have I got? I have. It's just a big collar, yes. I sat there then going, Goldbridge is naked under his hoodie. I'm not. It's still early days, says Rob Taff. Yeah. Look, we focus on Manchester United because we've got a long journey to go. And actually, I wouldn't judge us compared to Man City because Man City could start the season with the same squad and still win the league. Here's a question. Do Man City need to do any transfers? No. They've already got the best squad and they're the champions. They don't need to do it. They will do it because it's always good to mix things up. But they don't need to do anything. Arsenal don't need to do a hell of a lot. Liverpool probably don't need a hell of a lot either. They've got a good squad when everybody's fit. So, yeah, there are a lot of clubs that haven't done anything. But the flip side to that coin is we've got a lot more to do. I think we need 7 players in and 10 players out and maybe more. So we can't have a Frankie de Jong situation, says Jonas. And Terence says, never chase players who don't want to come. Yeah, never chase players who don't want to come. And also, that's very similar to, relationships. Don't waste your time chasing something that's not interested in you. We've all done it. Well, I haven't because I don't know what it's like when someone's not interested. But hypothetically, you might have had it when you were in your school days, your college days, your adult days, where you're absolutely convinced that this person is your soulmate and that, they just need convincing. You're obsessed. They are it. They are, I wouldn't have these strong feelings if it wasn't right. They're absolutely right. They're perfect for me. They just don't realise it. And then you let that person know and they're like, you see that shit on the floor? I'd rather eat that. No, you're wrong. You're lying to yourself. I am the one. Come to the cinema with me and watch Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. We'll be so happy. No, I reiterate, I'd rather eat shit. And I'm sure some of you have been in that situation, and that works with transfers as well. Like, that's what I think happened with Frankie de Jong. You shouldn't chase deals with people that don't want to come. Because if you do end up getting them, it ends up being like Di Maria, who never wanted to come anyway. Such a shame Yoro does not want to come. He's such a brilliant player, says Andre. I think Yoro would come if he didn't want to go to Real Madrid. But that's how it goes. And, from a Man United point of view as well, if you don't start trying to sign the players that Real Madrid are signing, then how are you going to close the gap on Real Madrid? I mean, it's amazing how Real Madrid are run and retain relevancy off an amazing name. They're not even in the best league in the world. They're not even in the richest league in the world. And yet they still can do what they do. Super says that Fabrizio says the offer for Yoro still stands. I think that offer, United just need to... Well, they don't even need to walk away. They just... What Man United should do is say that offer's there. We're off to do other work. And if we get other stuff done, then that offer might be refused. But if I was Man United, I would just say, look, we want Lenny Yoro. Lille have accepted the bid. The offer is there. Let us know if you change your mind, because we're going to go off and do other business. But we want you, and what the business we're working on now, if we get 2 centre-backs, then obviously we'll let you know that that offer's gone. But we don't need to retract it. We just need to walk away and work on other stuff. The worst thing we can do is wait and do nothing else. And I think we are doing that, surely. What about Amrabat? Well, there was an update from Fabrizio about Amrabat. I don't know whether he meant this week or last week, that Man United have said there'll be a decision on Amrabat by next week. And Amrabat is happy to wait because he wants to start a new project away from Fiorentina. I mean, it's weird, but, that's where we're at with it. Have a quick look. Do you think we'll get a late night? Wait, I think we might get a late night show, because last week I was literally just settling in for an early night, and the phone went, and it was the bid for... It was the Yoro bid, wasn't it? Last Monday night or last Tuesday night? Or maybe it was last Wednesday. I don't know. I lose track. I think it was last... I don't know. Was it Tuesday or Monday? I don't know. Maybe it was Monday. I think it was Monday. Would you take £80 million for Marcus Rashford? You know what? I don't want to be... I don't want to be... Well, I will be blunt. 1, we can't sell him. And 2, no one will give us the money to sell him. So we have to get the best out of what we've got. It's like people who blame Southgate when the FA are begging him to stay. Southgate's been a problem for England, but the real problem is the people in charge who won't get rid of him. And when you look at some of these players, yes, maybe they need to go, but the reason they won't go is because they're not viable for anybody, because we gave ridiculous wages and contracts. I mean, Casemiro, it's Saudi Arabia or nothing. Like, nobody is going to give us any money and pay his wage. So it's Saudi Arabia or nothing. And that's our fault. It's only 2 years ago that we gave Casemiro, a 4-year deal on 300 grand a week? So, yeah, I think it's... and look, we, a year ago, gave Marcus Rashford a 5-year deal on 300 and something grand a week. So... I didn't, you didn't, but Man United did. So it's their fault that they can't get rid of him. If they wanted to get rid of him, they can't get rid of him. And let's be clear, nobody is going to give Manchester United even 70 million for Rashford. So I think talk of selling him is ridiculous, really, because it's not even an option. Nobody will give that money for him. If not Yoro or Branthwaite, who else is an option, Mark? Guehi, Bremer, maybe Tadibo, Inacho. There is an abundance of centre backs out there that United can pivot to. Tamori, I've never heard as linked to CY7. Tar, I think it's load of bollocks. Look, there's a lot of decisions out there. There's a lot of centre backs out there, but yeah. Solo Galaxy says, what's Yoro's decision? Could you not just watch the show at the start? He wants to go to Real Madrid. Yeah, he wants to go to Real Madrid. So there's been no changing of his mind over the last week since we put the bid in. As of tonight, he still wants to go to Real Madrid. So it's decision made, isn't it? We haven't been able to change his mind. So I think what we need to do is just say, thank you, we still want you, the offer's on the table, we're going to work on other deals, and if we get other deals done in the meantime, then obviously we won't do the deal with you. But if while we're doing that, you change your mind, let us know. And I think that's what we should do. Thank you. Thank you. You've been legends today, by the way. I really enjoyed the watch along. I know it was a loss, and I know we didn't score, but it was just great to watch Man United. Great, and I really enjoy pre-season. Yeah, we've got a good few games coming up. I'm looking forward to Rangers as well. Apparently, there's been a Fabrizio retweet, which we always enjoy. So let me have a quick look at what that could be very quickly. Make sure you subscribe and smash a like on the video. Love that. There we go. What's his retweet? Marseille keep working on Mason Greenwood personal terms agreement. Discussions underway about the salary structure. Board and De Zerbi want to make it happen. Talks continue. I mean, I think that's basically what we said 20 minutes ago, isn't it? We're waiting on a decision from him as well. We're back in the morning at 10 o'clock, but obviously make sure you subscribe and get your notifications on, because Monday night does tend to be a drop at 10:30. That's all I'm going to say. So just be aware, Monday night, for some reason, seems to be, traditionally, in a summer transfer window, a night for things to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but just be wary around that time. Take care, everyone. Legends today. I'll speak to you all soon. Don't forget to listen to the podcast, Goldbridge Saves Football, by the way. I'm just going to put that up there because it was a hell of a podcast today. Brand new one. All about the Euros in England, and an absolute rant at certain people in the mainstream who I think have been absolute cowards. So they got called out, and I don't know whether I can do it. We've not got it. I don't think I've got it there to show you. Podcast, there we go. There we go. If you scan that QR code, it will take you straight to it. First 10 minutes are the best. Listen to it in the bath, go for a walk. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. And a big shout out to everyone who's pre-ordering the book, by the way. It's funny because I'm reading it. I wrote it, I did the draft on it, and all that lot, but I've been reading it, and I've just read the pre-season bit, and it's just so well timed, and it's so true. So you can pre-order the book. Gems has just put that there. If you pre-order the book, it will really give us a chance of going in week 1 into the Sunday Times bestsellers top 10, which is what we want to do because it's brilliant to upset the mainstream. But if you do buy the book, please enter the competition because there's some really good prizes there, none more so than the Goldbridge Arms. So when you scan when you click the link, just go through the penguin thing and buy the book that way and enter your details. Thanks everyone. Take care. I will speak to you all maybe later tonight, maybe in the morning. See you in a bit.